Hello and welcome back to Change and You. My name is Catherine Alonzo and it is just me today. And we are going to be digging into a really, really simple exercise that I love to do when you're tackling a problem or figuring out how to improve something or overcome a challenge. And I'm playing around, this is the first season of Change and You, and I'm playing around with different formats. And so today we're going to be just short. This is really just kind of a short lesson. And I wanted to share with you this tool that I use, and it can be really helpful to use it professionally, on your own, with teams, in your personal life, in your professional life. It's just so universally helpful. And I wanted to run it through with you today. And what I call it is pluses and deltas. And so you can use this, like I said, for any problem or challenge that you are facing right now. So this could be something that maybe isn't going great at work, or maybe you're stuck on how to do something. Maybe you're struggling with something. You could actually even use this sort of globally, that if you're just feeling off right now and you're not quite sure why, you can use that for that kind of thing. So I'll give plenty of examples that as we're going through it. And I'm going to use an example that we used in our team recently, where we are trying to figure out how to make our sales and marketing process more efficient and how to improve it and to make it as fantastic as we can. In the coming year, we're going to be making some big changes to it. And so our team that works on our sales and marketing functions at Javelina, we got together and did this activity. Okay, so here is how it goes. So you get either yourself or one other person or a group of people, whoever is working on this process with you. This could be your spouse if it's something you're doing in your home life, or it could be the people that you work with. And you want to designate a note taker. So that could be you or somebody else on your team. And first of all, you start brainstorming the pluses and the deltas. So this is all of the things that are going well with this, whatever you're talking about. So to use my example on our sales and marketing team, all of the things that are working well for us, all of the achievements we've made, all of the things that we want to keep are the pluses. And that last point, the things that you want to keep, is a really, really important point. Oftentimes when things are going well, we can take for granted some things that seem to be helping things tick along smoothly. But it's not happening by accident. We made that happen. We put some effort into that. And so you want to make sure to capture those things. So those are the pluses. And then when you have gone through and you've thought about all the pluses, all the things that are working in your favor right now, then you start thinking about the deltas. What are the things that we would change? And the reason that we call it a delta rather than a minus or a downside is that it's more helpful framing to think about not what is a bad thing, but what is the thing that isn't perfect yet? What is the thing that we could optimize? What is the thing that's missing? What's something that we could change? And so to use our example of sales and marketing, there was 4 or 5 of us, and we brainstormed all of the things in Javelina's sales and marketing function that are going well, the pluses, and then the deltas. What are the things that we would change? What are the things we wish we had? What are the things, the processes, the systems, the ideas, the people that we think would help to maximize our efficiency and our effectiveness? So if you were doing this, let's just say, to keep it kind of general and accessible, let's say you were doing a pluses and deltas just for your life. You're thinking, I want to change something. Something's missing. I'm feeling a bit stuck and I can't put my finger on what it is. So you would sit down, you would list all the things that were pluses in your life, and this might be some key relationships. Maybe it's your job. Maybe that's a delta. Maybe it's some aspects of your life that you really, really enjoy. And then the deltas might be things like also some key relationships, maybe a job. Maybe, I just don't travel enough. Like I just feel like I'm here all the time, or my life's just too full. Like I feel like I don't have any downtime. There's this thing that I love that's missing. And you do this big pluses and deltas. Okay, so then when you have the 2 big lists of all the things that are good, that you want to keep, that you want to carry forward, and then the deltas, the things that you would change, the things that you would shift, then what you want to do is review those 2 lists and come up with what are the strategic conclusions. from these two lists, what are the things that we can take away that if you could pause time and you could just dedicate all of your time to getting unstuck in your life or to improving your sales and marketing processes, what would all the things be that you would do? And so to use the sales and marketing example, it might be, we would hire a new business development associate, or we really need to create this new process that's missing, or we need some new language that we can put on our website that describes our services. And then to use the example of trying to get unstuck in your life, maybe one of your strategic conclusions is, I need more time on my own. I really need some more me time. Or I really actually would like to put some more money in a savings account because I want to travel more and that's expensive. And so I'm going to set up a savings account and put some money in every month so that I can be saving for that. Or my health is really important to me. On the deltas list is I'm not prioritizing my health. And on the pluses list is I absolutely love to go hiking. And so one of my strategic conclusions is I'm going to make sure that I go hiking every single week. No questions asked. So you come up with all of your strategic conclusions, and you might, depending on what you're doing this for, you might have 2, 3, 4, or you might have 20. You can just keep going until you come up with strategic conclusions. And at this point, you're not doing any kind of judgment. You're just coming up with ideas. And then after you have done your strategic conclusions, then it can be helpful to put it into buckets. So what are the themes, the different kinds of strategic conclusions you come up with? So for sales and marketing, we divided ours into, I think it was processes, roles, stuff like tools we needed, and then infrastructure. It was something like that. So to put it in categories. For your life, it might be something like, health, family, leisure, studying, work, or whatever. All the different sort of categories that your strategic conclusions come into. And then the next phase, and this is the hardest one, but the most important one, is to prioritize. And this is where you want to pick the smallest number of things you can to advance at once. And so the reason that you want to pick the smallest number of things you can, honestly, my recommendation would be pick one thing, is that one of the biggest enemies of progress is we bite off more than we can chew. And we do it all the time. We do it on our teams. We do it on our own. It is difficult to prioritize. Prioritizing things means choosing not to do something. And choosing not to do something, saying no to something, is a very hard thing to do. We feel like these are impossible choices. We can't possibly not do this thing, or we have to do this thing. And so we just bite off more than we can chew. And then what happens is we end up getting to the things that we included slower anyway, because by overloading ourselves, we made things harder for ourselves and we slowed ourselves down. So I really encourage you to pick one thing, 2 things, 3 things, but the smaller the list, the better, and start with that thing. And here is the one single question that I love more than any other question that helps prioritize when you have a list of things that you can do. And it comes from the book, The One Thing. And that is, which thing, such that it is completed, would make everything after it easier or unnecessary? I love this question and I use it all the time because it forces you to get clear on what is essential. And when I first heard the question, I kind of rejected the premise. I rejected the premise that I really thought that it was kind of unlikely that there would be many things that you could do that would make things that came after it easier or unnecessary. But actually, what I've discovered is it is so very true. And so to use the sales and marketing example, I listed some of the strategic conclusions we had on our list. When we one of the things on the list was to have a 2024 sales and marketing plan. And we went through everything and, you asked which thing such that it was completed that would make everything after it easier or unnecessary. We determined that it was to have a 2024 sales and marketing plan. Because if we did that, it would make a lot of the other things on our list, it would put them in order, it would determine which were the most important. For example, we had on our list, we need to figure out roles and responsibilities. Well, you need to sort of know, what is our plan first before you can figure out roles and responsibilities. What do we need? And so to use the personal example, let's say that you have on your list, I want to travel more, and I want to open a savings account, and I want to make one new friend, and I want to talk to my boss about my growth trajectory. And you might determine, all of these things are going to be easier if I'm hiking once a week, because when I'm hiking once a week, I'm taking time for myself and giving myself the space to be thinking about my conversation with my boss. And it doesn't, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's what makes sense to you. And so doing this can really help not only to take action, but to take some informed action. And then once you've taken that first step, then you come back to your list and determine the next one. So quick preview of this process: pluses and deltas, strategic conclusions, categorize, prioritize. And like I said, you can do this for anything. You can do it for big things and small things. Even if you're trying to fix one particular process in your company, you can start off with the pluses and deltas. At Javelina and with my other clients, I use pluses and deltas all the time. I use it at the ends of meetings. What went well? What would you have changed? If something's not working, sometimes I might be doing a series of training workshops with a client and it's not going as smoothly as I would like it to. And so in the middle, I'll do a pluses and deltas. What is working well for you guys? What would you change? And then I take away my strategic conclusions, I categorize it, and I prioritize it. This is a fantastic tool for figuring out what action you can take to make something better, to make it better for you, to make it fit. I hope this is helpful. I hope you've enjoyed this mini episode of Change and You. And I really look forward to seeing you here back next time. And the one thing I would say is if you do use this and you find it helpful, I would absolutely love to hear from you. You can reach me at Catherine Alonzo on all the social media platforms, or Catherine@catherinealonzo.com by email. Thanks so much. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.